It is the early 2000s in Japan, Yokohama City, at Nissan's headquarters. The company is going through hell with a crisis through the roof, $20 billion in debt, losing money year after year. To add to the pressure, the legendary GT-R R34 is reaching the end of its run, and its replacement has to be nothing short of revolutionary. On the outside, the pressure was insane. GT-R R34 fanboys all over the world were on the edge of their seats. They were hoping for an even better supercar killer. A car that could go toe-to-toe with the likes of the Porsche 911 Turbo, Ferrari F430 Scuderia, and Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera. For CEO Carlos Ghosn, it's do or die time. He gives the green light for the R35 project, a car that isn't just meant to carry the GT-R badge, but to be the ultimate symbol of Nissan's comeback and putting Nissan back on the global map. The problem was, budgets were limited. CEO Ghosn gave a direct order to Chief Engineer Kazutoshi Mizuno in his office. Look, Mizuno, we're in financial instability. We can't afford to create big engines like the V10 or V12 like everyone else. You've got to come up with something extraordinary using our existing V6 engines from the simpler cars we already make. Whatever you do, make it a supercar killer with just 6 cylinders. We've got to compete with 12 cylinders, or maybe even more. Also, don't forget about the tuners. You need to leave room for them to modify the car so it can compete with future supercars, or even hypercars. Because I don't know when we'll be fully financially stable to make big engines, so until then, we have to make this V6 work. It's all on you. So after 5 years of hard work, Mizuno and his team transformed the modest V6 into a beast of a machine that could go toe-to-toe with naturally aspirated V12 engines. But how did they pull it off? When Nissan retired the RB26 engine from the legendary GT-R R34, they faced a challenge. How do you follow up an icon? They needed something modern, powerful, and full of that race car spirit. That's when Mizuno and his team stepped in. They chose to start with the VQ37V HR, a V6 engine used in everyday Nissans like the 370Z and Maxima. It was reliable and easy to work with, but it wasn't supercar material, at least not yet. Mizuno saw its potential and got to work, transforming it step by step into the VR38DETT, a beast of an engine worthy of the GT-R badge. First, they strengthened the engine's foundation. The original block was rebuilt with a tougher aluminum alloy, and heavy steel liners were replaced with lightweight, heat-resistant ones. This not only made the engine stronger, but also lighter, which is critical for high performance. Next, they focused on airflow, because a powerful engine needs to breathe. They redesigned the intake and exhaust ports to let more air in and out, like giving the engine bigger lungs. They also upgraded the cams and valves, allowing the engine to work harder without breaking a sweat. By adjusting the engine's size from 3.7 liters to 3.8 liters, they squeezed out even more power. But they didn't stop there. They added 2 turbochargers, forcing more air into the engine to create incredible speed and torque. All that extra power meant more heat, so they installed a high-tech cooling system to keep everything running smoothly. To control all these upgrades, the team developed a custom computer system, ECU, that managed every detail, from fuel delivery to turbo boost. Finally, they replaced and redesigned critical parts like the intake manifold and connecting rods to make them lightweight, yet incredibly durable.
Closed deck block, great flowing heads, and just an all-around tough engine. Nissan really nailed it with this one.
When the VR38DETT was ready, under the godfather of the R35, Kazutoshi Mizuno, the Takumi craftsman team was formed. This team consisted of 5 highly skilled engineers, each hand-building each and every engine, with the precision and attention to detail. These craftsmen were the only ones trusted to build the engine, ensuring each part was meticulously assembled for ultimate performance.
One is there's a little plaque that says hand-built by, and then there's a little logo that says Takumi. Takumi is a term for like a master craftsman, someone very skilled at their trade, in this case, engine building, and the specific person who built this engine has their name on a plaque.
The result was an engine that debuted with a stunning 480 horsepower at 6,400 RPM. In 2007, the production spec GT-R officially launched, and it didn't just meet expectations, it shattered them. On the Nürburgring Nordschleife, the car clocked an impressive lap time of 7 minutes and 38 seconds, 2 seconds faster than its benchmark, the Porsche 911 Turbo. So here we go. This is where the demand for this car begins.
What, 2007? Well then, a moment of silence for another Japanese masterpiece, the LFA, that dropped just a year later, but didn't get that surprise factor.
But seriously, who the heck would have paid $500,000 for it back then when you could get a GT-R for a fraction of that? Still, absolutely ridiculous engineering. Anyways, when you have an engine with massive horsepower, you also need a great transmission to handle that power. In the case of the R35 GT-R, half of its lap time achievements can be attributed to its advanced GR 6-speed dual-clutch transmission DCT developed by BorgWarner, featuring a transaxle design specifically engineered for this GT-R to handle launch control and extreme power. One clutch manages odd-numbered gears, while the other handles even-numbered gears. When one gear is engaged, the next is pre-selected, allowing for almost instant shifts. By the way, the GR6 transmission system was the world's first to be used in the R35 GT-R. It's a 6-speed DCT that features a carbon fiber driveshaft connecting the front engine to the rear-mounted transaxle. This transaxle combines the transmission and rear differential into one unit, mounted at the rear of the car. This setup improves weight distribution, giving the car better balance and handling. So you've got the power and the strong transmission, but now you also need great traction to put all that power to the ground. As Carroll Shelby famously said, "There's no such thing as too much power, only not enough traction." That brings us to Nissan's finest innovation, the advanced Atessa ETS all-wheel drive system. This system is all about traction and stability. It's what makes the GT-R truly special in terms of handling and grip. While the Atessa ETS system evolved from Nissan's previous AWD setups, its implementation in the R35 was on another level. Under normal conditions, it primarily powers the rear wheels for a more traditional sports car feel. But when things get slippery or you're really pushing it, it can send up to 50% of the torque to the front wheels, ensuring optimal traction. The system works super fast, using sensors to monitor wheel speed. This setup makes sure the GT-R sticks to the road like glue, whether you're launching off the line or ripping through corners.
I'm not even a GT-R fan. I'm more of a Porsche guy. But man, that system was unlike anything else on the market. You could just smash the throttle and the car would figure out the rest. It was way ahead of its time.
With this system and its crazy launch control, the GT-R hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.5 seconds, something that only a few cars could do back then. To put it in perspective, Ferrari's ultimate car, the Enzo Ferrari, 2004, and Porsche's top dog, the Carrera GT, 2004, also hit 3.5 seconds. But here's the catch. Those cars cost around $650,000 and $450,000 respectively, while the GT-R pulled off the same performance for just $70,000.
Well, not anymore, my boy, not anymore. I remember when the GT-R was half the price of a 911 Turbo, but now even the M5 and M8 can gap it for the same money, not to mention the 911 Turbo S, which absolutely smokes the GT-R in any drag race.
I get it. There's a lot more competition these days, but you know what they say? Old is gold. Check this out and see how Godzilla handles its prey. It was early 2008 in the UK, and Ian Litchfield had saved up some money to buy the newly released GT-R R35. As the founder of tuning company Litchfield Motors, he was eager to see what the car could do and how far it could be pushed. One morning, while reading a magazine article about the R35, he came across a statement that claimed Nissan had designed the engine to only handle its stock power and that it couldn't be tuned for more. He was pretty disappointed, especially since he and his team loved the old R34 engine, which was so easy to tune and super strong. When Litchfield Motors got their hands on the R35, they proved everyone wrong. With just a few basic upgrades, like an ECU remap, a better air intake, and a performance exhaust, they managed to squeeze an extra 200 horsepower and 250 Newton-meters of torque out of the car. It was insane how easy and affordable it was to tune the R35. Those mods only cost around $1,000. It was unlike anything they'd ever seen before. Honestly, when you think about the R35, they're rarely stock. They're usually in stage 2 or 3 plus, making over 1,000 horsepower. Some of them are even outrunning Ferrari's fastest car, the SF90, and Bugatti Chiron, with the same power as their stock versions.
GT-R and the Bugatti? Yep. Look at that GT-R. Holy crap!
There's practically no limit to what you can do with the engine. The block is so strong, it can handle whatever you're willing to throw at it, as long as your bank account can keep up.
Damn. This is telling even after 17 years being more or less the same, it is still competitive.
Yup, legends grow old, but they never die. To this day, the GT-R R35's VR38 DETT engine remains one of the best engines ever to come out of Japan, and the most tunable V6 turbo ever built by any car manufacturer on the planet.